And we are back. We are live. Welcome to the PsY Tai Livestream with your host, Ty. Hopefully, y'all having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time this is coming at y'all. Take this energy, boom, boom, boom. Now that we all in the same boat, we can start the conversation. Yes, guys. Hey, hey, hey. If y'all ain't check out the last video, make sure y'all do. Be sure y'all drop a like, subscribe to this video, as we're gonna talk about the Thousand Words movie with Eddie Murphy. And remember, the Side Top Podcast does not promote the use of illegal or legal drugs. What you do with your body is what you do with your body. This is for documentary purposes, harm reduction purposes only. And these are just stories. This is a movie review. So we're gonna tell you about the Eddie Murphy movie that came out a couple years back, but I just heard about it and seen it yesterday. And what that had to do with me. It ties into the last video. So if y'all didn't see that last video, be sure to check it out where I talk about my mushroom trip. But this video right now came into my realm of reality and I was watching it, and it gets trippy, guys. It gets trippy because Eddie Murphy knows some cool things in his regular life, and that's why I believe now he's not even acting. He's singing reggae. He's just doing what he wants to do without anybody else telling him what to do. Because before I go into this video, it was a whole lot of product placement in that video, all the way down to everybody's favorite line in that video. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. That was, they forgot what it said. Chili's, baby. That's a Chili's slogan, and it kept going in Starbucks. I was like, yo, man. But that's just my frustration. Now that's it. Now that that is out the window, let's keep going. So Eddie Murphy in this movie is a big businessman. He's a big businessman. Has a condo, bachelor pad. He got a wife. He got a wife. He got a new son. But he's the guy that goes and closes deals. He's the business guy. He goes out and he tells everybody his job, and his job is to convince people that of anything. He said, man, I can convince anybody of anything. Just let me talk, man. That's why y'all hire me. I'm gonna convince this guy, this guru guy, to help to allow us to publish his book and bring it out and make cartoons and all these other things of it. So that's what he said he was going to do. And they was like, how are you going to convince this monk to make a TV show and things like that? And he was like, I got you. And that's what he was. That's what he was doing. So he goes and he finds the monk, and he goes to see what it's about to go to convince him. He all in his business suit and everything. And he tries to convince this guy that he want to publish his book for him and things like that. And let me let you know now, he didn't even read the book. He didn't even read the book or anything. He just like, I'm gonna go read. I'm gonna just go tell him. So this shows me now how I'm gonna go in synopsis and however it comes out. But he was doing that, and he he tries he, he still tries to say, yo, I loved your book. I loved it, man. I loved it. And that shows me business people, man, just the business like mind, how people just try to get things done and try to use their little bit of knowledge and egotism and narcissism in order to overcome somebody else. So when Eddie Murphy was doing, he was trying to, he said he tried to participate in the classes and things like that. He tried to participate in the classes. What I mean by that, he tried to do the yoga, and he was doing. It was funny. He was saying that "Mama say, Mama say." He was just joking around. He wasn't taking none of the practices that was going on the retreat serious. So all along he said that he has to. He keeps going, and he says that he's gonna publish the book for the guy. The guy believes him. But then it's something in the atmosphere that I see in that movie. Something in that atmosphere flipped it around, that knew that he was frauding, or knew that it was some fakeness to all of this. There's some fakeness. So a tree that actually cut him. And this is something weird because it was blood on the tree. So I was like, yo, is it like got something in it, DNA or something? But the tree was alive, and the monk claimed he had nothing to do with this tree. He probably had a sense of what was going on, but it wasn't him doing. This tree just was doing it on his own. The tree had an awareness. So, and this on my psychedelic view of a thousand words, and they also mentioned acid in the story, which I, which is wild, which is wild. But he keeps going. The tree pops up. A tree pops up at his house, and the thing about the tree, he finds out, is that whenever he says a word or anything, the tree starts to lose a leaf. It starts losing a leaf every time he says a word, and he starts getting a little sicker. And he has this thought that, um, yeah, Fear and Loathing is also a good movie. I gotta watch that again and talk about it. I gotta watch that again. That was Fear and Loathing with Johnny Depp, Hunter H. Thompson. But yeah. So God, a lot of talk. I need some water. Need some water, 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 water. So he has this fear that when the leaves on the tree dot falls off, he's gonna die. Me, I'm already like, yo, this is trippy. Because that's how a lot of trip things happen. Like, yo, correlating something external to something that's going on internally. And this is wild because this is what happens when in the psychedelic mind and when you deal with plant medicines and when you journey into yourself. When I journey into myself, when I deal with plant medicines, this is what happens to me is that things on the outside of myself start to correlate to things that's mentally going on in me, and I correlate it to my health because everything is talking, everything is connected on so many levels, and one of the obvious levels is the symbolism. Things, synchronicities. Carl Jung came out with that term synchronicities, but it's just coincidences, so-called coincidences. It's all of that. It's all of that. And looking out for them really puts you in this state of mind where I probably too would think that if I said something, the tree falls leaves, that tree's bare, I'ma die. But this is how we felt, and this is what the monk was kind of telling them too. So that's what set up this story. So this is a guy that uses his words to convince people of anything. Coincidence is a word to not notice something that happens twice. Yeah, we do gotta get rid of that word coincidence. Just stick to synchronicities and stuff like that. You see a pattern in nature tuned into patterns in yourself. Yeah, that's what you well said. That's how it is. And the more and that's how I deal with these plants more and more. Yeah, I take synchronicity as a weak wink from the ether. And the way I go into it more and more, I start seeing how um structuring. That's why I'd say I gotta that's why I say before set and setting is so cool, but set and setting is your ever for me, set and setting now is my everyday waking life. How I was saying in the other video, how I run my family, how my interactions are with people, how I keep the place looking around me, make sure I have inspiration and things around me, or things that I created myself around me, which is inspiration because I inspired it. I put the spirit into it. But but yeah, and when you're not doing too good, the ethers will tell you. LOL, she batting that eye at the entheogen. Really, really, like. Ooh, I need some more. But when you're not doing so good, that's when you start seeing all the bad things, and that's just why this channel was here, so we can have these conversations and all come together, share these ideas, and switch some things up in our own realm of reality. So help ourselves by listening, help ourselves by helping ourselves. Man, don't get me started on her, because it is, it really is, and that's why the Amina and the Aminus and things that Carl Jung was hinting to in his things about the the part that's creating everything, that's us. And when you disconnected from that, you go searching forever in the world for that love, for that girl, for that perfect beauty thing. When really it's there already. You just gotta look at her. Look at her. She's a gift. But with yeah, the tree is psychedelic and all of that stuff. And this is a guy that uses it. No, no, no. You good. You good. I want all the breaks in there. That's why I go live and I don't just record and upload because I want all these stuff in there, man. It's original. Can't get this nowhere else. Can't get this nowhere else, guys. But yeah, he and it's practice for me to be able to go back into the ethers and grab back onto that thought that I was at. This is good practice. Good practice. because when that train leave, that train didn't really leave. It's just going off. I just gotta run back to the side of it and hop on the caboose, hop on. I'm thinking about when those old Tommy movies where they say I'm just gonna travel somewhere and it's a square car, a square train car, and they just jump on the side. I just gotta run back, jump back in it. And so what Eddie Murphy was saying was that, man, was thinking I'm a guy that has to convince people with my words. Like that's my job. So now I can't talk. Like, wow, this is really hindering my life. And also he was starting to go through things with his spouse because his spouse was saying, going through things like, yo, we live in a bachelor pad. It's not a real family friendly place. And also later in the movie, she was also going through things of not feeling as though that he was there for her. So she tried to put on this act of trying to seduce him, in order for her to know that she loved him. And this was trippy because this is what I was going through. Because I was like, yo, I want to explain things. I felt so I need to explain things so that you know that I love you. Because I hear the things that you coming up with. It's like, no, that's not the story. That's not what's going on in my head. It's so much more world going in my head, but I'm trying to explain it to you. So when I saw how he was being tested, the show the by not being able to talk, and she was real in his face. Like the writer was so awesome with this that they twisted it up and put her into a real. He went to a hotel room. She surprised him there. She was trying to seduce him. Was dressed up in all the bras and the panties and stuff, and had said that whatever you tell me to do, that's what I'm going to do. Like sexually, just tell me. He was like, and she's like, what are you saying? You don't love me? You don't, none of that? And she's like, I just really felt that because it was like, I do. Stop basing, like, overall, everybody learns to not base it around the words of that scenario. But in that moment of going through silence, it's a test because as y'all go back on that dream I had 3 days ago, I said 3 days. It was a while ago now. But I probably did the video about 4 days ago. I had a dream where I was tested. I mean, I was saying I was going to be watched over or something to make sure I don't just see how I am because they saw how I was upset 3 days or something like that. Yeah, it was something like that. And so and now with this other trip saying seeing how me trying to explain so much just messes things up more. So I was seeing how, wow, silence is golden. Silence is a tool. It is a tool, and it can make things look like it's going to be all messed up and mucked up and everything. Yeah, it had the meaning but not words, like translating trip too. Yeah. It's just words. It's just words. We got to be there on the other levels. We got to be there on the other levels communicating with each other. And that's what silence brings about in people. It allows you to explore that realm and know what are you really thinking, what's really going on. But just how it was playing out in the 3D realm, so to speak, and her not understanding. And there was another thing where he was trying to point to the tree. He was trying to point to the tree and say, "Look at that tree," like because he couldn't write the words down either. He's like, "Look at the tree." Like if you look at that tree, because she was saying she was trying to describe them moving to a new house, and she thought that he didn't want to hear any of that, and that he just was focused on something else, and that she was just a bee and all this other stuff. So he was like, no, look at the, like, he didn't say it, but he was like, look at the tree, look at the tree. But she just looked out the pool, looked out and saw the pool and saw the scenery. And then she said, why are you thinking about the pool and the scenery right now? What do I not say matters or no. And he just like, and he can't even say it, but I just need you to know that the tree is the reason why I can't talk, because if it falls, I die. And I just seen this as a correlation of what I was coming to my own realization of, man, can't keep killing yourself trying to over explain these things that need to be experienced in certain people at certain times. Like I can talk about it, what happened, but trying to explain it is me literally probably in a sense trying to convince people in a way where I'm shaping their mind. Where I don't, and that's where I always backed off. Cause like I don't want to shape your mind. I don't want that. I just want you to do it already. I just want you to see the tree already. So that's what I believe that scene was pointing out. Like a lot of psychedelic people, like we want you to see the tree, and people like, well, that what are you talking about the pool for? I'm like, no, we're not pointing to a pool. But what's your thoughts on industries becoming controlled by huge ego maniacs and they use actor politics like cattle? And they use actor. Hey, they doing what they do, and they doing it for the money. That's all my only thoughts on it. They doing it for the money. It's a whole lot of things that trickle down, and it has affected me to the point where I had to run across plant medicines and communities and talking to people like y'all in order to get rid of the thoughts and the programs that they put out through all the actors and everything. That's my thoughts on that. It's what we got to do. But what a shot out agenda that we have to protect ourselves, or maybe I'm bugging. No, we do have to protect ourselves. We are protecting ourselves, and that's what these realms and plant medicines are helping us do. And because it allows us to look back on where we are. Like we go somewhere, get some experience, change up ourselves, we come back. We come. Yeah, I see. No, no, it is. It is. We come back and we had to prepare, and it is a warrior's journey. That's why there's no picketed new age go protest with your signs and sit in the lawns. Like that's just what you should do for yourself on a daily. Want to know what they hide for sure. Yeah, and I think the companies that put out the movies, I don't think they really they I think they more on the money side. I really think it's all in the directors and the actual writers, who are putting this message out. And it's just the company that is just like, we can use this. Let's put some Starbucks in there. Let's put this baby backs Chili's ad in there. Let's put all these other Pepsi, Coke product placements in there because we all working together. Our company is connected to this Pepsi Cola company that's connected to this um Manhattan billboard company and all this other stuff. When it comes to that, that's the monopoly that psychedelics allows me to shift through so that I can get what the writer was trying to say, what the artist was trying to say, what the director was trying to put out. But when we deal in this world, it's like we got to deal with a lot of bull crap, shift through a lot of crap. But it does come with us strengthening up our iron. Iron sharpens iron. That's why we here. It's layers of control. That's why I started this off. That's why I started this off saying about the product placement of the Starbucks and stuff. So I'm gonna get that frustration out the way because that's what it was showing me in the movie. I was like kind of I was like, yo, what? It is a lot of courage to be a psychonaut because you really are blasting off. I'm thinking of the David Bowie song, this is ground control to Major Tom. I'm stepping into the dark. But it is a lot of courage. And that's the thing, that's just how it is. Cause that's just how it is. It's a lot of courage. It is an astronaut. It is going out there. It's about going and cross. It's cause some people go to some people. It's a line. Just imagine a line. It's some people that like to hear about people that went to the line and looked over the cliff, saw what happened. It's some people that like to hear what people jumped over the cliff and hear what happened. Even that too. And it's some people that walk up and they just look down and say, "Oh, that's something. That's something." And then there's other people that's like, "I'm gonna jump. I already saw all of this. I already looked over to the side, to the left. What's down there? What's down there? Only way to know is to jump." And it looks so dark. And you see this out in a lot of movies. I was thinking about the Hunger Games movie randomly, where she had to jump off the thing. It was like a trust thing, and she didn't know what was going to happen, but she wanted to be part of the group. She had to jump, and let alone it was a trampoline at the bottom to catch her. At the dark, at the end, it was a trampoline right there. I still get pre-flight fear all the time. LOL. The trick is to commit and upset. I mean, accept. It is, yeah. I still get pre-flight jitters. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. for me at least right now. I still get, and listen to Sleepy E, who has done a lot of psychedelic journeys, and he was still telling me how he's not able to control the fear going into the trip. It still always feels like he's about to die. Because you are. And Terrence was saying that. Terrence McKenna was saying um how it still feels like he's about to die, but he said he feels like this all the time. And I feel like that's why I believe people skydive, or I go hiking and look over the edge of the cliff, like physically in this dimension, and just do outward things because it helps you become. I would getting because and I'm just hoping over the years going to help me become more brave when I go on these journeys during the come up without having to take MDMA or another kind of substance to lighten it up. I do want to go experiment with CBD, taking CBD before a trip. Somebody suggested that to me, as opposed to just smoking THC. But hold on. Y'all know how I just get off those trains. Yeah, Terrence was saying how even well, he faces that same fear when he goes on a boat or a yacht or something like that. He's like, well, this could be it. This could be my last boat ride. It's just always gonna come up. Dying is okay for me. I just need my blankie. We all know we gonna die. Just how you die. Yeah, and I think I always been afraid with. I mean, not so afraid of death. It's just all the thoughts that I conjured up since I lost myself back in this reality. Because I used to like how am I always say to myself how I used to be suicidal, but I'm afraid of death. But that makes sense though. It makes sense to me. But I'm just saying that saying, just that plain blank statement is just like, what? What? Also, used to sing. I used to like the metallic. Is it Slayer? I think it's a Slayer song called I forget what it's called, but it's one of their first videos where they're in Egyptian, has a lot of Egyptian background and everything. And it's this one saying that go in there before they go into the hook and say, "Before you see the light, you must die." And yeah, that's what I mean. I feel it's peace. And that's what I mean about that. When I said suicide, I didn't really always think, oh, I hate life or oh no. I really felt that if I killed him in the past, and this is Ty talking, is then fast felt if I killed myself that I was going to be finally at peace, at the peace that I felt as though was being blocked out of my head and filled with all this other stuff. Like man, it wasn't deep for me. And also the songs I was listening to fantasize death. Like if you ever heard of him, it stands for His Infernal Majesty. It's a band from Finland, and it's a band from Finland. If y'all ever saw a heartogram, like a heart, and it's a pentagram at the bottom, it's a heart at the top. That's a heartogram. They invented that. They invented that. Yeah, no, I'm never giving in. That was years ago. I ain't doing that now. I might have to shift places I go because some places are just strange. It's just strange. But that's how it is. And they ain't fantasize death in the way of when love and death embrace, which I think is still a very beautiful song. When love and death embrace, or they have a song called In the Night Side of Eden. And like in the night side of Eden, we're born again. And just a lot. Just a lot. But back to the movie. I was talking about I went past the part about how it was his girl his wife and her not seeing what he was trying to point out, which was so simple in reality to him. Like, no, the tree when I talk, it leaves literally falls the fuck off and I'm going to die. She doesn't see any of that. That story doesn't even enter into her realm of reality to even try to be able to picture it without him saying it. And then we see later in the movie how when he tries to tell his coworker that's always by his side, the funny guy, he actually draws the story out. And he still said his first thing was what? Like, no, this is this what? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's the feeling I get from. That's the behind the scenes. Like, oh, well, you could even draw the story out to people and they won't see it. Like, that's crazy. It still was crazy to him. But well, I had to change around because in the 3D they just put it as yeah. I took when he finally told him the story through drawing it out and signing and stuff. He said, yeah, when I was in college, and that's what made me know for sure that the people that wrote this was on. No, they know. So now y'all know that they know. So he said that, and he still didn't believe it. So then it took for him later in the movie is outside their realm of reality, and it really get trippy because when that's your realm of reality that you live in, and you literally looking at another person, you like you're not there with me. Like it's so weird. It trips me. It used to trip me out and getting and yeah, y'all know. It's like that. It's like that. And so it was outside of reality. So it took him to literally bring him to the tree, bring him to the tree, to touch the tree, and for him to say a word and watch it fall, for him to believe him and know that what he was doing. He had to bring him into the experience, and still he didn't see it at first when he was saying it. He was like, "Oh, that's just crap. You still tripping." But it took him to talk. That's what it took him to talk and see some more leaves fall and stuff like that for him to really get the message. For him to really get the message that yo, this is what's really happening. This is life. What you thought was real, what you thought was the constraints on this reality is not what's really happening. Those that constraint can be taken apart and still experienced. And still experienced, man. And that's just what I was getting from that. And he was wild. And in the end, y'all see how in the end he was being more nice and nice and things to everybody and things like that. Because first he was trying to make up for it. He was trying to make up for it by just donating money to the nuns and randomly doing random nice gestures in order to try to heal the tree and reverse his karma. Like the road runner and the cliff. What you mean by that? I know the road runner does run to the cliff and then he stops and the coyote just keeps on running. No, the road runner runs off the cliff. He does. Yeah, the road. I know what you mean. He runs off the cliff and then he stops and the coyote chases him like, and he falls down and yeah, that's the picture. But yeah, in the end, he finally found his way. He finally found his way, and it wasn't through just randomly donating money and just trying to do things to get the tree better, but by taking care of his own life situations and the things that he was able to do after that. And with that, that's what eventually made the tree heal, and he was able to then talk again and experience the fullness of his life and go on from there. It was a very beautiful story from the viewpoint that I was looking at it from the Thai point of view, from a very Thai point of view. It was cool. It was a cool movie. And funny too. It was very funny. The non just him watching him try verbally and him losing out on a lot of his business deals. Like he thought he was going to get all these books and things signed. And he found out the book that he wanted to get published was only 5 pages long. He got connected to nature, connected to his heart center. He was back. He was back. And now with all the stuff that he grinded out for, he able to do something with his life. He able to do something very totally awesome and peculiar and quite novel, as they say. So that's my review. It must have been a writer took ayahuasca. They did. They really did. The writers they did something. I think that's why they don't mind that they name just pops up in the credits for like a couple seconds. They like, we know that you saw it pass by for that second, that half a second. That half a second is a whole millennia worth of time. Yeah, go check it out, Sahi. Check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off, bros. There's been sisters and tires and aliens and whoever is watching out there. Loving beans, anybody, chaos beans, hear me, hear this. Cuckoo. We are here. We here. Ty, thank you, well. Thank you, Thank you, well. Thank you, Sahi. Thank you, the Astro Way. And thank you, Void, for coming by on that previous episode. I think I know who you are. I'm gonna hit you up and see what's good. And if you don't know, then I don't know. Then, but I think I know. But shout outs to you, man. Shout outs to you. One love to all of y'all. May we find our heart and live out of there. And drink some water. Drink plenty of water today, guys. Drink plenty of water. I'm gonna get myself some water. And remember, we all tie. But do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. But hey, see y'all next time. Peace.